Welcome everyone to the next edition of the Care CEO Success Stories podcast. My name is Adam James of Spring Up PR, and I'm delighted to say that today we have Angela Boxall. She is CEO of Majesticare, which right now is going through a very, very exciting growth phase. So this podcast is being recorded in October 2022, and that's where Majesticare is at the moment. And Angela is going to be sharing with us about, well, particularly since she became CEO, of the strategies, methods she has used and implemented and brought on to become an employer of choice. Ultimately, of course, to help with both recruitment and retention. So it's going to be another fantastic episode. But before I get going, a couple of things. Firstly, as I said, my name is Adam James of Spring Up PR, and we help aspiring care providers become famous by PR and digital marketing methods in order ultimately to help with inquiries and recruiting new staff. And please, if you like this podcast, which I know you do, and I hope you've managed to dig into some previous episodes, then please give us a like, share, because you know how it all works. The algorithms like it, and then it makes sure that all the good news and opinions and experience by some of the UK's leading care CEOs are broadcast even more widely than letting it go through its own organic processes of promotion. So please do, share, like, and give us a thumbs up and all the rest of it. So as I say, I'm delighted that we have Angela here. So Angela, CEO of Majesticare, why don't you start off by telling everyone a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Oh, thank you, Adam. It's lovely to be here. So thank you very much for the invite. I love the fact that we're making social care providers famous. I think that's something for us all to aspire to. But yeah, so my name's Angela. I've worked in the sector for over 25 years. And actually my first experience of the sector was as an activities coordinator. 6 hours a week, part-time. And what's not to love about being an activities coordinator? It's a great job. And just completely changed my whole direction in life. I sort of knew that social care was for me. So joined Majesticare in 2006. I was a home manager for Majesticare of a home that is quite local to me up in Derbyshire. And I've been with them ever since in a variety of different roles. Love working with them. And I think, if we're going to talk about employer of choice today, I think anybody in a leadership position has to genuinely enjoy being a leader in that organisation to really make other people want to be there. And I love Majesticare. I believe in it, and I think that's important. And I suppose it's part of who I am now.
That's fabulous. I'm so interested to hear you started off as an activities coordinator on the floor, so to speak. And not the only one. I only see I've spoken to who's like kind of risen the ranks, so to speak. And has loves working in care, and have used everything they've learned and implemented when they've come to the position as you are now. So that
I think they're really important stories to tell, Adam, because the future of our industry depends on people coming in and seeing it as a career. Very often people didn't just arrive at CEOs or directors or CEOs, or they didn't just arrive in those positions. They worked hard to get there, probably by doing every job under the sun. And like you say, it certainly helps you to understand a little bit more about, especially what, the teams on the front line are going through, especially they've been going through over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. Thank you for sharing that. And okay, so you have been CEO since 2016. Is that correct?
Well, I was COO.
Before that,
but we didn't have a CEO, so I did both jobs.
I see, terrific. So tell me about then what you feel you've implemented to become and help Majesticare as a care provider become this employer of choice, which I know is so vital, and I know so many care providers are so keen to achieve.
Look, all of us are struggling at the minute in recruitment, and any top tips we can all share with each other is is wonderful, because we need to all support each other to make sure we keep our sector fully recruited with caring people. And that sounds like a really ridiculous thing to say when we're talking about care. Actually, care sometimes is quite hard to achieve. You have to find the right people to achieve it. But I think one of the things that was really important to me was that I was allowed to be myself at work. And that's why I loved working for Majesticare, even when I was a home manager. There was never any judgment. I was allowed to come to work as who I was. And that then made me a happier, more content person. I was more comfortable, which then meant that I was better at my job. And I wanted to make everybody feel like that. I wanted everybody to feel the same way as I did. So one of the things that we did really early on was that we wanted an initiative that meant that people that live and work with us were always able to be themselves and bring themselves to the job or bring themselves to the home, share their experiences. And, everybody's got a story to tell. No two people are the same. And I think that's what makes care amazing. So back in 2017, we launched an initiative called the Continue Being Me initiative, which is, it overlaps people that live and work with us. It's underpinned by our vision and our values at Majesticare, of which our vision is to create outstanding places for people to live and work. And that's outstanding for the people. I don't mean outstanding for CQC, although obviously that's something that people aspire to. And our values, which were generated by everyone at Majesticare. We had focus groups and we talked very much about what we all felt at Majesticare. And we came up with 5 values, which are trust, family, creativity, happiness, and heart. We then built the Continue Being Me initiative around those visions and values. So it means that wherever possible, people can be themselves at work. We encourage people to be open and honest. We have some amazing platforms for people to talk to their peers as well as to us. We encourage people to talk to us. We encourage feedback, and we always follow up any feedback with the "you said, we did" approach. So people told us something, this is what we did about it.
Yeah, and tell me about. Sorry, didn't
No,
interrupt.
not at all.
Curious to know those focus groups, how you did those, how you decided to do them.
So we started off by doing them at every training event or every meeting that we had. So we would capture lots and lots of different people. We then took the meetings to the homes as well. And we had a values wall, and we had a wall of frustration.
Right.
And everybody had post-it notes and pens, and every frustration that people had, they put on the wall of frustration, and every value people thought we had, they put on the wall of values. And we saved every single post-it note, every single one. And then at the end of the process, we put them all together so we could see what everybody's frustration was, and actually what values were the most popular, but also the values that would eradicate some of these frustrations. And then we talked to the people again. And then we had one more meeting with a focus group that was decided by the home themselves. And then the Majesticare values were born. We've reviewed them, but we've never changed them. They're the same as they were when we put them together back in 2017. They may mean more, they may have developed, but we still believe in the same things, and we still want the same.
And tell me, what did you specifically, individually learn from doing that, going through that exercise?
It's really odd, because very often the values that are chosen were actually values that I would have put down on a piece of paper for myself. I loved the fact that actually the team came up with trust. And that was a good lesson for us to learn that, yes, we have to trust them, but actually more importantly, they have to trust us. And we have to behave with integrity, and we have to be honest and open and transparent. And actually, that was the thing that the team that worked at Majesticare, that's the thing they wanted the most. They wanted to be able to trust us. And for me, trust is earned, same respect. And I think the more they know us, the more they're enabled to trust us, I think.
And involving your team in coming up with those values. Tell me a little bit more about. You felt the importance of doing it that way, because you didn't have to, but that's the route.
No, but if values are very personal, right? But actually, joint values, the biggest strength that a team can have. So all of us are very different. You know, I can look at our central support team as an example. We've all worked together for years. We've all been here for a very long time, and we're all very, very different people. In fact, our communications person has developed avatars of us now, which is really weird. It's really strange. But we, you know, she's actually drawn on the fact that we all we are just totally different people, and but we all have the same values, and actually that's what makes us strong. And it's the same with the teams in the home. They know what my values are, I know what their values are. We all working together, and I know it's a cliche, together we are stronger. And I believe that joint values, and we can all have different interpretations of them, but at the end of the day we're all moving towards the same goal, the same vision. And for me, that's why that was really, really important.
Yeah, and then another thing you touched on was these platforms where you are, you know, internal communications. Tell me a little bit more about what platforms you use and how you decided to do it.
Yeah, so there's lots of things within our Continue Being Me initiative. So I suppose, you know, and it was a little bit different during COVID, Adam. Things, obviously, everybody had to adapt, but we use something called Star Catcher. So all of our Majesticare family are stars, and we give them special thanks and recognition as often as we can. And one of the things that, you know, one of the first initiatives to come out of the Continue Being Me was something called Star Catcher, which is a group interview. So we developed a playbook. We invited a group of people that had applied for positions, and we were all in one room, and, you know, we played some games, we spent some time together, we did some observational work, we involved residents, we involved current team members, and, you know, it's underpinned with very strict HR procedures, but we were able to see what kind of people became once they relaxed. How they interacted with our residents, how they interacted with each other, whether or not they embraced our happiness value, that they actually brought themselves to the interview and let us see a little bit about who they were. And that, for us, just started the process off in the right way. Yes, it was followed by a one-on-one conversation about, obviously, the things we have to ask at interviews in social care. But actually, what it enabled us to do was to see people who they are, rather than sat behind a desk feeling quite nervous, which obviously is the case.
And you get to see a particular side of someone's personality, is that correct?
Yeah, and you know, it's values-based recruitment, isn't it? You know, right? So we're starting that values-based initiative right from the offset. And, you know, we then pulled that into our onboarding. So we then decided that we were going to do much more between recruitment up to day one. So, you know, we put some really lovely starter packs together. We sent people personalised welcome to the family cards. We got people signed up on our Star Hub, which is a platform for our team members for internal communications, but also for getting discounts at shops and cinemas and all those sorts of things as well. So it's like you could get loads of voucher codes and things off it as well.
Is that a particular software?
Yeah, it's a company called Reward Gateway, but we worked with them to personalise it to Majesticare. So our team have an app on their phone and can save money at fuel stations. It's like an extended version of the blue light card, but with some lovely quirky internal communication bits and bobs as well.
Oh, nice. That sounds nice. And so tell me more about this Continuing Being Me strategy.
Yeah, so it was just little changes that we felt really made a difference to people. One of those changes was the word, you know, as an example, supervision. So somebody says, right, you know, you're going to have your supervision next week. It's like, what have I done wrong?
Well, horrible word, isn't it?
What have I done wrong? So rather than having supervision, we now have just for me moments.
Right.
And we have just for me moments for our team, which are supervisions, but much more based around the values and what they bring to the residents and to their team members. And then we have just for me moments as well for our residents. So, you know, it might be one of our ladies was an Olympic swimmer. So, you know, we made sure that she could still go swimming. sing. One of our ladies was a Daniel O'Donnell fan, so we got a video from Daniel O'Donnell singing happy birthday to her for her birthday.
Yeah.
You know, somebody supports Liverpool, we took them to Liverpool to see a football match. So it's about getting to know that person and enabling them to, even if they can't be themselves all the time because they haven't got those opportunities, we absolutely encourage them to be themselves as often as possible. We embarked on the Pride in Care Award. So I don't know whether you know much about that, but that's working with Opening Doors London, who work with the LGBTQ plus community over 50s. So Majesticare is working towards the Pride in Care Awards, which means we want to be a safe organisation, everybody, and that's really important to us. So yeah, there's lots of different things. Continue Being Me develops every year because we keep achieving things, which is amazing. But you know, I suppose since the pandemic, that evolved the most is well-being. So we focused very much on everybody having an individualised well-being plan. We made sure that people had access to counselling services, not just our own, but you know, signposted them to externals if possible. And we're doing a really big push at the moment on the menopause. So you know, a lot of our workforce sort of 47 plus and are women. So you know, rather than ignoring the issues that are affecting our teams on a daily basis, we want to be facing them head on and supporting our teams through them.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's fabulous initiatives. And as you say, so very, very important. And of course, not by any means, every provider is thinking as hard as you have been on these particular initiatives to, you know, help ultimately to become recognized as a good employer and a desirable place to work, which, you know, as we know, is such a burning issue right now, October 2022. And I'm intrigued, just following the thread here, is that you're taking on, I guess, your experience of working with the care provider that you now head, and it's a kind of you've taken all of that to blossom, if you like, with this strategy that taking everything that you've learned and you felt is important. So would that be a fair summary?
Absolutely. And you know, it's not just what I've learned at Majesticare. I think it's actually what I've learned from other providers in the sector too. You know, there's some amazing providers out there. And the more we share and support each other with different initiatives, the better we will all be. But
how did you come about the decision-making process to do what you did with Continuing Being Me? Was it did you have particular advice? Did you have input? Where were your sources of guidance and inspiration for?
My source of guidance is always the team. So first and foremost, we have to listen to the people that we work with. Listen to what works, listen to what doesn't work, listening to what their challenges are. We also have to keep an eye on what's going on in the world and being sensitive to that as well. Obviously, we've had the pandemic, you know, we're having the cost of living crisis, fuel, you know, energy. Now this week, lots of other issues as well. So, you know, I think, and then listening to peers. Somebody actually asked me last week whether or not I'd had a mentor, and I think I've had loads of mentors. I think there's lots and lots of people that I've worked both at Majesticare and in the sector that I've learned a huge amount from, and that I'm appreciative of that every day. And what I then try to do is do the same for other people. One of the things I'm most proud of at Majesticare is every single one of our registered managers is homegrown. Every single one of them, they've started in a different role to registered manager.
That's pretty good retention.
You know, we've got one lady who started as a carer, one lady who started as a nurse, we've got a lady started as a CRM. So I think it's really important to work with people that are like-minded with similar values, and what better way to do that than to be with them on the journey, if you like.
That's fabulous. And tell me, leads into the next question I had, was then this positive impact it has on recruitment and retention. How do you feel you can better understand it, measure it, figure out to what extent it's benefited accredited a care provider or not?
So I think I said to you earlier, we've got a team that we're all same values but very diverse, and I'm one of those people that sort of has an idea, but then I also work with a couple of people who are very data driven, which is amazing because actually the data tells us the full story. So we can see peaks and troughs. We can see when we really invest a lot of time, when we put on a team building event, as an example. We often take the team to a house in the country and we spend time with them. We do activities with them. We do this throughout the year. And after we've done that, we can see the survey results are better, which means the retention is better. So the data tells us that the more we invest in people and I'm not talking necessarily about money, it's time. If we make the people feel important, if we take the time to talk to our people, then they're more likely to trust us and stay. And that's what the data tells us. The data tells us that recruiting from values, people are saying 12 months longer than they do when we just follow the normal interview process. The data tells us that when we use Care Friends, which is employee referral system, and when people refer, again, retention is better. And also that helps with occupancy, because if you've got a really local workforce to the home, your team are your biggest marketeers. They're the ones that advocate the home. They're the ones that go out there and shout about the home, whether it's positive or negative. So from a business point of view, it also pays to look after your people. So
that's a fabulous lesson to be additionally cognizant of the advocates of your hundreds of care workers and employees and the messaging they are getting out to their communities about you as an employer and a care provider, because every single one of them will be doing that.
And social media now, you can it's just amazing at how many people you can reach with just simplest things. It's and I can't, especially from an employer brand perspective as well, I can't big up social media enough. It's so powerful if it's used in the right way.
And is there anything else particularly about the Continuing Being Me campaign that you would like to draw on that perhaps we've not covered up to now?
I think the only thing that I'd like to is that it also focuses very much on bringing younger people into care or new people into care, and it's very much focused around those generations as well. And I think one of the things that's really important and around being the employee of choice is not putting barriers in the way and always looking for opportunities to try new things. There's a company out there at the moment that's starting up an initiative that I'm really going to get behind, actually, because and it's called Step Into Social Care. And it's really focused on the schools and the colleges and getting people interested really early on a career in care. And I think that if we're to keep those youngsters, we have to live in this century. Digitalization is really important as an organization. We've got to be forward thinking. We've got to be using tablets and phones rather than pieces of paper. We've got to be using social media, because very often, and the right sorts of social media. If we want the youngsters, we're talking more Insta and TikTok, I think, than Facebook and LinkedIn. Not that I know about stuff, but we have to move with the times. We have to embrace change, embrace technology, and figure out ways to get youngsters into care and letting them know that actually you can have a really successful career in the industry. Really successful and really rewarding as well.
So what was the name of that organisation? Just for anyone.
It's Step Into Social Care, and it's a company called Cohesion.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's wonderful. So finally, is there anything that you would like to touch on that you've not up to now?
I don't think so. I'd just like to probably, if I can, if you don't mind, mention Championing Social Care.
Of course, yes.
Which is an initiative of a group of sector volunteers that are predominantly out there to shine a positive light on those that live and work in the sector. And I would urge people to have a look at the website, because there's so many initiatives, Care Home Open Week being one of them that we run, which is a massive tool for employers to do for recruitment, but also for occupancy. We do the Care Sector Fundraising Ball, which raises money for the Alzheimer's Society and the Care Workers Charity. We do Care Sector's Got Talent, which gives all the carers and frontline teams the opportunity to showcase their talents and win prizes, and lots of other different initiatives that brings the sector together to champion social care, which is, you know what, if we're going to be good employers, then we've got to be shouting about the great things that we do in this sector.
Yeah, 100%. And that's championing social care. Just do a search on the Google. If you don't know about them already, you'll find all the details there. As Angela mentioned, they do. I know Angela's very much involved. And yeah, as Angela says, they do a number of really fantastic initiatives. So that's championing social care. Great. Well, thank you, Angela. It's been a terrific episode. Now, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, how best can they do that?
I'm on Twitter, but I'm not very good at it, so you might have to wait a while for a response. But it's Angela Boxall 1 on Twitter. But if anybody wants to talk to us about, you know, any of the initiatives, we have an email that people can contact us, and it's called Majestic People. That's MAJETIC people at majesticare.co.uk. We're also on Facebook under Team Majesticare, and we're on LinkedIn under Majesticare as well. And we've got an Instagram, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not selling my ideas very well, Adam, am I?
I think you did very well to remember all of those, so well done. So, Angela, thank you so much for being our guest on the Care CEO Success Stories podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Adam, and take care.